Hello, this is Douglas Robinson with DefEdit Software, and in this video we're going to talk about creating a new Windows user or LDAP authenticated user through the Cherwell REST API. Now I have on my screen the exact kind of request that I'm going to be sending, and we can talk through it. I also have an example of an application that I've been building recently that will utilize this request, which is where I'm actually sending this request out from. But essentially what I am sending out is so you have to have, this is all in JSON, but you have to send out your BizOb ID, which is going to be for user info. Even if it's an LDAP authenticated user, you will be required to send out the password. I believe you have to send out a login ID as if it's an internal Cherwell account, but I believe the login ID value can actually be blank. Although from my testing, you absolutely have to send some kind of password. In my application, it's sending some kind of GUID with a capital letter, a lowercase letter, and a special character just in case you have password rules on there. And then the rest of this is just a security group ID that somebody's being assigned to, and then the fields that they're going to be populating the user info record with. So in this case, we have a SAM account name, a full name, which is the display name there, and then this bottom one actually ends up being email. And then at the bottom we're sending out Windows user ID. Now on the Cherwell Swagger page, there are many more fields than this that are optional that can be sent out, but this is our bare minimum that we've been working with as an example for testing out our application. So as an example, if I want to send out a request to create a new user account, I can do so. I'm going to use Fiddler so I can actually show you what this request is going to look like. But so I have this application here. Oh, I'm in the wrong page. Hang on. So I have this application here. I need to run this locally. Give me one moment. I have all of my authentication information just kind of saved into a file. Okay, so on one of the screens of this web app I've been working on, right, we have, let's say we're going to create test user 7. His username, or his full name will be test user and then the word 7 on it just to keep it unique. His login ID will be test user 7, all one word. I'm not going to put an email, I'm not going to put in a phone. I was trying to set the phone field, but I was having some kind of weird trouble with that, so we're going to ignore that for now. Security group's going to be IT Service Desk Level 2 and 3, and I'm going to click Create and Add to Team. Now at the bottom of this, I actually am posting in the response that I get back. So this is the response that comes through the Cherwell API. If this is successful, the JSON attribute error message will be null, and has error will be false. But you'll notice it sends back the public ID, which is the full name or the display name, at least as far as how it's configured out of the box. You can technically change it, but I don't think anybody ever does. And then it sends back the BizOb rec ID for the newly created record. Now, if you send in the rec ID as part of the request that you're sending out, it will update an existing account. So the same REST endpoint is used for creating a user as it is for updating a user. However, I'm just solely in my app going to be creating users, so that part's not as relevant to me. And now, if I wanted to troubleshoot this, as I have been for quite a while, what I would do is I have Fiddler running on the machine that's sending out this request, and so on Fiddler, I can actually see a request going to the Cherwell API Save User endpoint. When I click on that, and I go to Text View up here at the top, I see the request that I'm sending out. We can see, hey, we're sending out test user 7 for that what looks like the SAM account name, test user 7 for the full name, email is empty, here is the Windows user ID. You'll notice I'm doubling up on the backslashes for the domain on Windows user ID. This is JSON or JSON formatted content, and in JSON format you have to double up on backslashes because the backslash itself is used as an escape character for other special characters that might break JSON formatting. So all you need to know is you need to double up that backslash, even though Normally you would not. That's about it. So we're sending over login ID. You'll see the exact same response that we got back on our page down here. So you can see all of this going on. The headers and the result code you'll get back, you should get back a 200 OK, and your headers will look like this. That's basically it. So if you need to create a Windows user, you can send out a request very similar to this. You can paste in other user info fields as well, and there are some other options you can add to this, like whether or not the user account is locked, whether or not the user must change an internal Cherwell ID upon next login, but really this login ID field shouldn't be relevant. So if I go back to my app, I have this on 2 different machines, but if I go back to my app now and I search for this user, for example, because I want to make sure he exists. By the way, this is the browser administrator app that I've been testing out for a while now. We can see we have a couple of different users. This one is testuser7, and his username is testuser7, all one word. If I go into the Cherwell administrator tool and I confirm, I will see an LDAP user, test/testuser7. You'll notice here that backslash is not doubled up, so it is coming through the API correctly. The security group is the correct security group for this guy. We are all set. If you have any questions about this, feel free to post them in the comments section below, or on the Cherwell community forums, where potentially many more people will actually see it. Thanks. Bye.